Hey paper crafters, thank you so much for joining me today. I love that you took the time to pop by my channel, check out the video that I've got going, and hopefully stay and poke around a little bit. I'm really excited to be able to offer some videos now and then and share my love of paper crafting. So I hope you find something that you enjoy and come back to see me another time. Bye-bye. Hey paper crafting friends, thanks for tuning in today. I wanted to share with you a one-page layout, or in my case, a calendar page, using this April 2022 Kiwi Club kit. Now, if you're watching this in February and going, why April? There was just a bit of a shipping mix-up, and so Kiwi Lane was able to get us our April Kiwi Club kits in February. Looks like in March we'll get the February kit, and in April we'll get the March kit. So just a little bit wonky, but it's all gonna work out. Also, if you saw my unboxing video, you know that I was initially missing the lid for the jar. That has already come. I got that within just a few days of contacting the company, so all is well. So let me start by showing you the palette that I'm gonna use today. And obviously I've already cut into some of this, but I picked this really fun strawberry paper. I do sometimes have Easter pictures, but I can't count on it. It just really depends on what we do. So I didn't want to do an Easter layout for my calendar. So I did go ahead and use the strawberries. I used some of this great green paper that just has a slight stripe to it. The back side of that one is just kind of an off-white. It was supplied as a background sheet, but I tend to use all of the papers a little bit differently. And then I used some of this red, and then the back side of it is a yellow. So I used both the red and the yellow in this layout. Okay. As far as the templates go, if you're wanting to create along, you're gonna want the Berry 5 and 6, so those fun little wavy ones. You'll want Berry 4. I did get into these strawberries. And Berry 3. So 3, 4, 5, and 6 were the ones that I used. I ended up not using the jar, which was kind of funny. I used Orchard 4 of 5, so this was from a previous club kit. Bracket 1T. And then just a few of the photo mats. This particular layout's going to feature 2 4x6 and a 3x4. I always use these when I'm planning my layouts. If you have not been sold on the photo mats yet, I would really reconsider. But I know we all have our own ways, but I never thought I'd use them, and now I use them every single time. So let me show you what I put together. I'll start with just the main page. So I took the strawberry paper and I cut like 1 3/4 inch strips. I want to say this one may have even gone all the way to 2, and then this one was 1 3/4. So just a strip of that for the top and the bottom, and these were just straight strips. When I went to cut these fun little berry ones, I decided that I wanted one to come, so that the curves were coming into the layout, and then I wanted to pair that with one coming this way. So I just want to remind you that when you go to cut, it doesn't matter, unless the paper is directional, but it doesn't matter if you cut it this way or this way. You can flip the piece however you want. And I know for some of you it's like, yeah, duh, but when you're getting started with Kiwi Lane, sometimes you don't think about those choices. So I did take a sheet of red like this, took my piece here and did my tracing right on both sides, and then this one just nests beautifully right inside. Okay, and then I traced the top. That way I ended up with 2 of these strips, but I only had to cut 1, 2, 3 times rather than cutting 4 by having them spread out. So wherever you can save yourself a little bit of time, I recommend that you do that. As far as this little guy, this Berry 3 of 6, In my case, I decided that I wanted this red to match exactly. So this was one of the sentiment cards that was included. It says, "This is the sweet life." So I went ahead and just traced the whole shape, the outline of it, right on the sentiment card and cut it out. And then to create these little accent pieces, I just took this template, I laid it on a scrap of the red and got these other little parts. They are kind of small to cut, but like I said, I wanted a perfect match, so that's what made sense for me. If you're not as committed to that, you can do it with a marker. You could outline it and fill it in with stickles. You could do a marker with glossy accents on top. You could take some of the texture paste and use this as a stencil and just kind of swipe it across that. You could also ink it, like with a dauber and ink. So many options with these ones that have these little cutouts. So don't feel like you have to trace and cut it if that's not up your alley, okay? As far as the berries, obviously this is just a single piece, the way that this is done. I just kind of freehanded it. So I traced the berry itself on the red, and I just kind of did a rough curve so I'd have a way to attach it to the green. And I did that with both of them. I actually made some extra berries, so there's a couple here, and I'll show you a couple more. As far as the green, I used the stripy paper and did the same thing. I just kind of guesstimated how that stem, would be attached to the strawberry. It's not perfect, but when people look at your work, they're not sitting there and thinking, is that a realistic strawberry? So just go with it, the absolute best that you can, right? So I had a lot of fun creating those. One of my girlfriends was here this weekend while I was working on this, and she was just laughing at all of my fussy cutting. So as far as the dots, I had started with a stickles on this, but I wasn't really happy with how it looked, and it was still pretty wet, so I was able to rub that off. This one is just a yellow liquid pearls, and I just like the way it showed up better. And then I call it a snail trail pen. It's like a shimmery gel pen, and that's how I just added some accent to the leaves. So hopefully you can see that. I just drew some veining in there. As far as what's left on here, the yellow is the back side of the red. So I didn't even use a complete sheet of this for this layout, doing all the red, the strawberries, the photo mats, but that is on that same sheet of paper. As far as the remainder of the layout, let me open this up, or the remainder of the calendar page. This is what I did for the lower part. So another sentiment card, there's beauty all around. And so I just traced this on the sentiment card. It worked out that I was literally able to use the back side of the sentiment card because the bracket is so symmetrical. I flipped it over and just cut it slightly bigger and used the back side of that very same sentiment card to back it. So that worked out. But there's literally nothing behind here. It's just this skinny little yellow piece that surrounds it. So it doesn't usually work out that way, but this time it did. This is the back of another sentiment card. And for that basket, I used that Orchard 4-5 template, and I traced it on the yellow little sentiment card, and I just used my Vintage Photo brown ink and a dauber and just inked it to get all of those details. And I ended up deciding that I wanted it to pop just a little bit more, so I used my brown like fine point Sharpie and just went around all of those to make the details stand out just a bit more. The basket has this curve right here, and I just used my like a straight knife and cut the bottom edge of this curve so that I could tuck the strawberries in. So I hope that makes sense. Couple more strawberries made just the same way that I described making these. And then I felt like I needed something to anchor it. I didn't want a lot, so I tried lots of different borders down here to see if there was one that I wanted to use. I had this strip of red that was left, and I ended up just deciding to go with a little 3/4 inch strip, and I'm happy with that. So I felt like it tied everything together. So I'm going to slide this way a bit. So hopefully you can get a whole view. And again, if you're just more of a layout person, you could easily take this design and extend it onto a 2-page layout or just the single page. Just some ideas to get you thinking and using this kit. So I did notice yesterday that the idea book is in the shop. So I'll go ahead and link that in the description of the video if you haven't gotten to see that whole idea book yet. But that's what I have for you today. I hope that you are enjoying your kit if you are already a subscriber. If you are not, these kits do end up in the shop after they've been mailed out to all of the Kiwi Club members. They are more if you're not a member, but if you find one that you are absolutely in love with, then that is a way that you can pick it up. So again, I appreciate the time that you spend on my channel, and I hope to see you here again soon. Take care, you guys. Bye-bye.